you.
He was like, you were like going hysterical on stage. I was like, what's happening?
I was a fan of you before you were a fan of me. The snot-nosed brat that I was like, how do you know that, old man? I want them to say that they felt safe with me, and because that's what I felt with, some of my mentors.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, when you don't acknowledge your stunt performer or your stunt double or your stunt team, you're dead to me.
Have you ever thought, wow, this person's kind of an asshole?
Man,
I know.
This is gonna sound so cliche, but K-pop Demon Hunters is so.
Yeah.
All right, I was like, yep, nope, I've lost it. I can't. I'm like, what is the actual name on here?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Once and Always a Fanboy with me, your host, Chris Cantada Force. You know, one of the best parts of being a fan is when the people you once looked up to actually become part of your life. That's exactly what happened with today's guest. I first knew him as Koda, the Blue Ranger from Power Rangers Dino Charge. But since then, he's gone from Ranger to starring Hollywood films like Bullet Train and leading films in Indonesia. I'm lucky enough to call him a friend, and now he's here in Manila,
hey,
filming his latest movie, Shadow Transit, which makes me extra happy because it means we finally get to actually have this podcast face-to-face. Fangirls and fanboys, Yoshi Sudarso!
Hey, man, it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
Since we've known each other.
Yeah.
Well, technically no, because I was a fan of you before you were a fan of me.
Oh, from the...
Because we used to be a part of this like Facebook group for like all the Ranger fans.
Yes, because I guess prior to your debut, I was already kind of doing little skits here and there.
You were doing fan films and stuff like that.
The only place I would be embraced by posting is in that group, Facebook.
Kind of a toxic group these days. No, we love y'all. We love y'all. Yeah. But yeah, it's so funny because like, I watched you and then you know what I mean? It was kind of like a mutual kind of thing. So I love that. That's the beauty of this like entertainment world. It just keeps coming around.
Yeah.
Right?
So yeah, let's start from the beginning. So sweet.
The beginning.
So one of the reasons you're here in Manila is because a guy named Sunny Season is part of the team of the movie you're filming now. And for the hardcore fans, Sunny is a legendary name tied to the Power Rangers mythos.
That's right.
Can you share how you first met and which you can say was the start of your Ranger journey in essence?
100% it was. Sunny Sison is a stunt performer. When I met him, he became a coordinator. But he was a stunt performer on the Power Rangers like TV shows. He played putties and whatever. And then he went on to do like the live shows. He would be the Rangers in the suits for the live shows that used to go around in the Saban days.
Yeah.
And then into the Disney days as well. So he's done a lot with the Rangers. How I met him was back, I want to say in 2012, like very early on in my career. I was taking jobs from anywhere. There was this thing called Craigslist back in the day, and I would just kind of look for jobs on there. And it was looking for somebody who could be in like, do acrobatic stuff in suits. It didn't say what suit, right? It was a music video. And I got hired on by the producer. So I met Sunny there as he was the stunt coordinator. So I went there, I was working and I was like, oh, hey, nice to meet you, whatever. He's like, today you're wearing this outfit. And it just happened to be the Red Ranger. And as a fanboy, I did the moves, like his, the original Ranger Call moves. And he goes, how do you know those moves? I was like, I'm a huge fan. I mean, who isn't, right? And I was like, the snot-nosed brat that I was like, how do you know that, old man? Right? And he goes, I run the Rangers. I was like, huh? He goes, how would you like to be a Ranger? And I was like, you can't say those words to somebody and just be like so casual about it. I'm like, yeah. Well, what does that mean? He goes, all right, when we're done with this job, Monday, this was on a Friday or Saturday, I think. It was over the weekend. He goes, Monday, you come to the Saban headquarters. We'll try on some suits. If you fit the suits, you'll be a Ranger. I was like, just like that? He goes, yeah, like I run the live events for, all the Power Rangers and stuff like that. This was during Samurai at the time. So when I went to go to the fitting, I can't remember which ones I tried on, but I tried on a few different ones, and they just wanted to make sure. I was a skinny boy at the time. We only had the Japanese suits. We didn't have like the newer suits made.
yeah.
So most of them were the Japanese suits, and they weren't like four-way stretch the way that some of the other ones were. So they were tight, right? So I was like, yeah, I just tried on whatever. And then I was like, and they were like, okay, great, you fit them, awesome. We'll call you when there's a job. So essentially, there's a roster of multiple people, and there's always the 5 or 6 that they always call. If somebody was unavailable, I would then come in to replace them because they already had their team, right? But then, all these Rangers that were in the suits are working stunt performers. I was very new.
Yeah.
So I hadn't even gotten into the stunt world at that point. I just was acrobatic from my cheerleading days. So he then was like, okay, well, we'll call you if there's something. That Friday, it was like, hey, we had a cancellation. Can you step in? I was like, great, yeah. And it was a charity run for something. I forget what it was. But the very first suit that I put on was Gold Samurai, which was one of my favorite characters in the Japanese version, right? The sushi guy. That was so cool to me. And I had a lot of fun with that. So I was like, okay, this is dope. But the person that I am, I always want more.
Yeah.
So at some point I met like Alex and the rest of the cast, and I was like, Alex. He was cool. He was really cool. I was like, Alex, how'd you get the role? And so that's how I ended up getting it, was because Alex was like, oh yeah, the casting director's this. I looked it up, figured out how to reach out to her, and then the rest was kind of history.
Very cool. So when you booked Koda, did the fan in you react differently than the actor in you? In your
1,000%. For me, I was like, oh my gosh, as an actor, I booked the job, right? So they tricked us, right? They essentially was like, we had so many auditions and so many callbacks. This was like the 6th or 7th time. And they were like, hey, can you come back to do one more callback? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure, totally. Go to the callback, and it's a cold read, which they usually give you the sides prior to so you can practice it. But they were like, no. You're going to come in, we're going to hand you the paper, and you're going to read it. And then so we read the paper, and as we're reading it, at the end, it's like, it ends up with the one reading with you saying like, oh, go ahead and open that box in front of you. And we go, do we actually do this? Okay. And then it says like, hey, congratulations, Yoshi Sudarso, you are the Blue Ranger or something like that, right? I forget what it was exactly. My brain was like, I did it, I got it. Because some people may already know, this was not my first Power Ranger casting. I first auditioned for Megaforce, which I did not get at all. I went in, when I asked Iris if I'd come in, she said yes. And instead of just being like happy about that, I was like, can I have my brother come in too? So me and my brother both went for Megaforce.
Oh.
First audition, I go in, we do this whole thing. I do a backflip full, which is hard to do. And they were like, okay, cool. Right? Nothing. It was just quiet. Didn't get it, obviously. Didn't get called back. Peter goes in, and I hear the whole room roaring with laughter. He was in there for 30 minutes. They loved him. He made it all the way to the end. And then something happened near the end that he didn't end up getting it. So then the next season, they finally brought us back. It was me and Peter. And Peter, again, was the only one who got called back. I didn't get called back. It wasn't until he got the producer call back that he was like, you got to see my brother one more time. And then they gave me the audition for Koda. And unfortunately, for Koda, there was only 2 people up for it. It was me and like this one white guy with like curly long hair. And then for Peter's role, he was going in for green. There was like 6 or 7 guys. So they were like, one Asian person. Anyway, so when that happened, I was like, this was something I've been fighting for. 1, I was happy. 2, I was like, dang, Peter didn't get it, because I knew he didn't come to this callback. And then 3 was, really, Blue? Like, I really like the Raptor guy. Can I do Raptor? Because he had the double swords, right?
Yeah.
Or I was like, also, I really liked Red, because Daigo in the Japanese version was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And I was like, also gold, literally anyone except for blue and black, right? Like I was like, I didn't really care for blue or black. Black was cool. He had the gun, right? He had the 2 pistols. Blue was the last that I was like, me? Really? As the blue? The shield guy? But it ended up being, such a huge jump to my career.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's a lot of people that take Rangers as like, oh, don't do it. You're gonna be stamped as that forever. I'm like, it just depends on how I play it, I think. And what I do with that success. And I was right. it was different for different people, you know, and it's how you handle it, I think. And so to me, as the actor, super happy that I got a job. As a fan, less so, because I knew I wanted certain characters. Because before I even auditioned, I had watched Kyoryuger.
Yeah.
And then when I was auditioning, I watched Kyoryuger. And then after I got it, I watched it again. So I've seen it like 3 times. I was like, Daigo's so dope.
Yeah. Like Power Rangers has always been about teamwork. What
Right.
did you personally take away from the bond you built with your castmates? Because your cast, like, you know, Kyoryuger, it's a lot.
Huge. We were the biggest, I think. The English version less so, because we had one less, right? We didn't have the Navy or the Dark Ranger. The funny thing is, like, we had a lot, but it was really the core 7 for us, because our purple was always with us on every job, on every day, and from the beginning, right? In fact, Ivan, played by Davi, he didn't come in until like a month into the shooting. So we only got to know him after that. Whereas Claire, we got to know her almost right away. I grew a pretty tight bond with Brennan and Claire. Brennan almost instantly. Claire was more throughout. As we like progressed through the season, we realized a lot of our values were the same, you know? And we had this thing where we were like the mom and dad of the set, right? So whenever things were going haywire and crazy, I would catch her eye from like far away on the other side, and we both go, and we'd find like our peace, so that we wouldn't go like, because it got rowdy. It definitely got rowdy. Then you have a lot of people, right? It's a lot of like personalities all in one place, and they were supposed to just be all best friends right away. It's tough when it's, you know, that's not necessarily always going to be the case, you know? So it gets rowdy. It's like, and it's loud. And we're in a cave and sound travels. Claire and I are both like kind of introverts. So we're like, calm down. Granted, at times she'd be the one who's loud. And at times I'd be the one who's loud. Especially when came to me and Brennan. Oh my God, we were the worst. They're always like, can you please not hurt yourselves?
Was Brennan ever since into handstands?
I learned my handstands from him. Yeah, so how I perfected my handstands was because we were living together. And so our thing was we'd wake up in the morning, go to set, shoot for 12 hours. When we were shooting, we would work out in between takes. Him more so than me, because I had this like long hair and I sweat real easily. So as soon as I sweat, the hair changes and the makeup changes. So I would piss off a lot of the makeup. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't trying to mess with their work, you know? So I didn't do as much. But when we got home, what we would do is we would cook right away, eat. While we're eating, we're watching anime. After we finished that, we would work out. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Sometimes it would be like get home, work out. It depends on like how hungry we are. We'd work out first. And then we'd go eat together, like make food, eat, watch anime, and then when we were done, we'd go play games. Sometimes together, sometimes separately, but we just like everything that we liked was the same. We were like the same people. We would always be introducing to people because, oh yeah, we're both we're engaged. Not to each other, because we were the 2 that were engaged. And we were the 2 older ones, right? And we were both gamers, nerds. Neither of us drank alcohol. Like we'd never touched alcohol, never smoked. So we were both like, we were so similar to like everything to a T, to a point where everybody was like, okay, can you guys not be the same person, please?
A big thing in the Ranger community, which I don't think a lot of people know the behind the scenes of it, was when Peter surprised you that he became the Ninja Steel Blue Ranger. And I was in the room when I saw that, because obviously I didn't know the history of why it meant so much to you guys. All I saw was you were like going hysterical on stage. I was like, what's happening? And then all I heard was, Peter, come out, or something. And then, what? Oh. So it was an amazing, I'm sure there's a great photo, and I think a lot of people have done fan arts of, you know, your. So can you, for those who are not in the know, like, why did that means so much to both of you.
You know, we auditioned together the first one, and he got it close. You know, and then didn't get Megaforce, which lucky. And I love the cast, but it's like it wasn't the most thought out, you know, season. And I'm so far removed from it now that I can say that.
Okay.
And then, you know, we did the same. The problem was, again, with when I got Dino Charge, as an actor, I was super happy. As a fan, I wish I was a different color. As a brother, I was hurt. I was in so much pain because I wanted to celebrate it, but at the same time, I knew I couldn't. But at the same time, I knew he wanted to celebrate me, and I know he couldn't. You know what I mean? That it was such a tough thing. And then I remember we had to like talk to each other, kind of like, hey, he was like, congrats. I need time to. I was like, no, I understand fully, you know. And luckily, that the job took me away, so we were able to like.
Yeah.
But it didn't last long. We were like, okay, you know, back to it. You know, he was like, hey, I'm just gonna work harder. That's just what it means, you know. And then so another 2 years. Again, you got to remember, like every season is 2 years. So he did 2 years with Megaforce and then 2 years with Dino Charge, and then they called him back for the third. And I ended up helping him audition. I came and I told Iris, I was like, hey, I'll help out. I will do a stunt evaluation for everybody so that the stunties in New Zealand would have an easier time. Because the stuff that they would have us do for the audition was like, show me a cool move that you can do. Show me, you know, whatever. And I'm like, that doesn't help them any. Like, the stunties don't need to know if they can do a cool move. Can they throw a punch and look good on camera? So I was like, I'll do a stunt eval for like all the producer stuff. And I'll do like, I'll be the reader for you guys if you want, because I'm around. She was like, okay, yeah, totally. So I helped out with a lot of the casting. I helped out with the stunt evals and whatnot. And I texted like all the people in the New Zealand stunt team. I was like, hey, this one can move like this. This one is newer, but I think if you give them the kind of like feedback, they'll understand. Oh, this one, take it easy on them. They don't move that well, but they're willing to learn. You know, stuff like that, so that they had like a full breakdown of what each actor was getting into prior to the getting the role. So I kind of gave an eval of like, this one's going to be easy to work with. This one's going to take more time. This one's going to be fast or whatever, you know. And with Peter, I was auditioning with everybody and I helped read with everyone. I was like, because I knew there had to be an Asian person, right? I was like, there wasn't that many Asian girls auditioning, like to the level that there was. And I was like, Asian guys, it's like Peter was the best out of all the auditions, easily, like by a long shot, because he knew how to do it, right? He'd done this. And I had worked with him. At this point, I'm like, I've been on set. I can work with you on like how they want to take these things. So I was like, oh, this is a sure shot. Like, that's it. It's going to be me and Pete. Like, we're going to be the first brothers in all of Ranger like history to be Rangers. And it's back to back.
Yeah.
Maybe not the same color because I didn't know at the time. And I was just like, this is it, right? Like, this is Peter's spot. Honestly, I thought he was going to be red, right? But of course, no Asian red. Except for Pua, right? Yeah. And then we were looking at all the cast or whatever. I was like, great, cool. I was shooting, I forget what it was, something with my brother, with Peter. We were on set. It was like 1 or 2 a.m. It was a night shoot. I get a text from Chip, the executive producer. I was like, oh, what's up, Chip? And he's like, oh, Chip just texted me. He's like, oh, cool. And I was like, what's up, Chip? He's like, hey, can you get on a call? I was like, sure, I'll call you on my break. So we go to break. I was like, hey, Pete, I'll be back. I'm going to call Chip. Oh, okay. Hey, what's up, Chip? He goes, hey, man, listen, I don't know how to do this. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He goes, how do I tell your brother that he didn't book the role? I was like, what? You mother? Like, why would you put that on me?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm with him right now, Chip. He was like, yeah, but I don't know how to say it to him. And I was like, I don't know. You're the exec. Figure it out, bro. I was pissed, like super pissed. You could tell. I was like, dude, man, like I gotta go, man. I can't deal with this right now. And I hung up on him. And I'm like trying to gather myself, you know, go back to Peter and kind of make sure everything's okay. Basically, Chip was like, don't tell him. I'll tell him. Just let me figure out how to do it. And I was like, okay. So I go back and I'm like, hey, what's up? Start eating. I'm just gonna eat so I don't, you know. And he goes, yo, what's up? What was that? I was like, oh no, he just wanted to call us, see what's up. And I was like, he was like, what? I didn't get the role. And I was like, face dropped. I couldn't fucking act in front of him, you know?
Shit.
And he goes, oh, I didn't get the role. I saw everything just drop and sink.
Oh man.
And seeing that, bro, I started crying. I was just like, fuck, I'm sorry, dude. Like, I'm so sorry. I thought you had it in the can. Like, there was no way anyone was going to get it. So then goes on for 2 weeks, right, before Power Morphicon. And prior to this, I was so sure Peter was going to get it that I had told Chip, I was like, yo, we should, because prior to this, we didn't have this handoff bull crap, right?
Yeah.
I came up to Chip and I essentially was like, hey, you know how the Japanese Sentai always do like the Red Ranger pass off? Well, we always have a panel at Morphicon. Why don't our panel lead into, like, why doesn't our panel lead into their reveal, you know, and hand them off?
So you're the one who,
And it was my fault because I was like, this makes sense. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I'm going to get to say my brother's name. Like, this is going to be dope. And so when that happened, I was like, oh, and I forgot all about that. Come the day of the, this is a week before Peter and I have this event that we were supposed to do together because we already had like social media following, right? So we were doing this thing and then people want to take photos with us. I'm like, sure, totally, let's take photos. And this kid, oh, poor kid, I feel so bad. He came up and was like, hey, can we do the It's Morphin pose? And my face just drops and I like am so pissed because I'm like, don't remind him. You know what I mean? I was like, don't freaking remind him. And I got so mad that I remember the photo was like just me standing there and I was so upset. And it's out there somewhere. I don't know where it's at online, but it's out there. Poor kid is like trying to do this and Peter's doing this with the saddest face. Apparently I find out now because he was like, I feel bad for lying to you. He had the saddest face, right? And then, so that happened a week before and then the event and we lived together at the time. So Peter was like, puts on this like red polo. He's like, hey, I got an audition, call back for Target. So I'm gonna go do that. And he like left at like 8 a.m. in the morning or something. I was like, that's so early for a callback on a Saturday. I was like, nah, whatever. But I was like upset, right? And I was like, oh, fuck, I gotta go to Pasadena and do this thing. And so I get there and we're in this room and they put the new cast in the room next to us. And they were like, don't go into the other room. Like, that's the new cast. And I was like, don't tell us that. I didn't care because I was like, I don't want to see who it is. Them all. And then, of course, Michael and Brennan and Davi, naughty boys, were like, we're gonna go check it out. I was like, go ahead, man. I don't care. They go to check it out. And come back. And I was like, so who was there? They're like, oh, there was this girl, white girl with blonde hair, like Hispanic kind of. I was like, okay, yeah. I remember her, Christiana, yeah. And he's like, and then there was this guy, kind of Indian maybe, not sure. And I was like, okay, I don't remember that. And then he kept saying a couple of names and I was like, what about the Asian? Like, who's the Asian? They're like, oh, we didn't see any Asian, but there was only 4 of them. And I was like, okay, all right, no Asian, huh? Okay. So then I go to do this event and I'm doing it. I'm enjoying talking about the, you know, whatever. And then I forgot that we were doing that thing. So like, oh yeah, now we're going to announce the new cast. I was like, oh shit. And they're handing out everybody envelopes.
Yeah.
I didn't get one. Not yet. And I was like, oh my God, I have to do this. I'm not in the right mind to do this. They're saying all their names. And I remember when it came down to me, they handed it and I opened the paper. And I swear to God, this is why it took so long for me to say it, was because I read it and was like, I'm so delusional right now that I'm seeing the name that I want to see on this paper. I've lost it. I'm actually gone. It wasn't until Brennan with his big gorilla hands smacked me on the back, was like, dude, say his name. And I was like, is this real? And then I tried to say his name. It didn't really come out. It was like, and everybody was like, the ones who don't know who Peter is was like, who is it? What's his name? Why is he? But I didn't know. And so essentially what happened was after I got that call from Chip, that night, Peter got called. And Peter was like, yeah, what is it, Chip? What do you want? Because he knew, right? He was like, hey, so I'm just messing with, like, are you with Yosh? And I'm like, no, we drove separately. Well, I was just messing with him. You got the role. I want to mess with Yoshi. This was all Chip's idea.
Oh my gosh.
And that's why I like pointed at Chip. You can see if you see the video, I'm like, you. He's like, but he was like, essentially, you got the role, but we're gonna mess with him, so you got to keep it from him for 2 weeks. Can you do that? And he was like, yeah, I can do that. And then apparently, when they ran into the new cast room, Peter was there. He dove under the table. Like as soon as the door was opening, he dove under the table because he was so like.
Yeah.
But man, I was like, y'all had me fooled. I honestly, when I saw them all come out one by one, because I kept seeing the people, right? And I was like, where's the Asian person? And I was like, it's got to be an Asian girl, because there was no Asian guy that was better than him. And then when he came out, when there was no Asian girl, and I was like, blue is left, I was like, there's going to be an Asian guy, and it's not my brother's name. I'm going to be so pissed. And that's why when I saw it, I was like, yep, nope, I've lost it. I can't. I'm like, what is the actual name on here? I was like, guys, help me out here. I'm gonna sound so stupid when I say his name and it's not him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I totally thought I was hallucinating. It was to a point where it was like, but that's, probably there's no way that moment, like nothing's gonna break that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing beats that moment.
Yeah. Let's talk about, your current project now here in Manila. You're playing a DJ.
I'm playing a DJ
in Shadow Transit. How does shooting in Manila compare to your previous experiences in Hollywood or Indonesia? Like, are there cultural or professional nuances that stand out?
The funny thing is, it's different than everywhere. Shooting in New Zealand, shooting in Canada, shooting in California, and shooting in Louisiana or Texas is totally different. So even Indonesia and here, there's similarities, but there's also a lot of like differences in the way they do things. What I've noticed about myself though recently is I'm the type of person who wants to kind of know everything.
Yeah.
And wants to like have all the info so I can put out the best, right? There's bliss in ignorance at the same time. Because in Indonesia, in America, whenever we do the projects, in New Zealand, I would hear everything. I would know like, this is the problem with this, blah, 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 which is why we're doing this. And so then that part's not so important for my character, but me as Yoshi who wants to know, But here, I can't do that because they start speaking in Tagalog. And I'm like, I have no idea what they're saying. I'm just going to tune them out and then I will wait for what their direction is. You know what I mean? So it was kind of nice to just like forget it all. But it's been really nice. Like the team here, like from Black Ops is the Pedring is the director, his production company. The team that they've brought together is so solid. Like from the makeup, the tattoos that we've done, the costumes that this character is being put in, it's all thoughtful, right? There's reasoning behind it, which has been so important to me because sometimes in film, the director could just be like, oh, we're doing that because it looks cool. And that's totally fine. But if we do that for everything, then it's tough, right? Like, why is my character wearing blah, 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 blah? So my character starts off with a jacket and a hoodie in Manila, right? So I had to I was like talking to the head of like the costumes, and she was like, well, one, we want it to be like, you can pad up if there's fights or whatever. Two, it looks cool. But also, three, the biggest thing for me was, she was like, well, when you first enter, you're trying to hide yourself, right? So we have the hoodie, so we're going to cover your face or whatever, because my character's coming out of hiding, essentially. So if he's got a jacket, it's more hidden. And it starts off with the story of me being closed off. So that's what the hoodie represents. And that makes sense to me, and they thought about that, which is important. And then we had another one where the scene where he's just in a tank top. And why is that? Well, one, let's show off the tattoos that we've made, and two, you're in your home, you're calm, you've opened up, you're taking down the walls a little bit. So there's reasoning within the storyline for every costume change and why things are a certain way, and it's not just because, oh, let's show off muscles, right? You know what I mean? There are moments of those for sure. But at the same time, I think it's a nice in-between where the art meets the commercial. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it can't just be. And if that's the reason, like, okay, give me the reason that, oh, this is commercial. That's fine, And I think I've been really enjoying seeing that. And like our DP, Noel, is awesome. Like everything that like the shots that we're getting, he makes sure that it's gonna look good. Every time I look at it, I'm like, that looks amazing. And I've been able to post
Yeah.
it as well. So it looks great.
Yeah.
And all that is just right out of the camera. It's no edits yet. We haven't put like there's a lot on there, but they're they haven't colored it. Pidging hasn't colored it. And Jonah is the head of costumes. Every time we talk about like the way the costumes are or whatever, we're always like on it with certain things. I don't know if she knew like my favorite color, but she put me in green. And I was like, that's my favorite color. And she was like, I don't know why, but it felt like you. And I was like, our vibes are just matching, girl. Yeah. Yesterday I went out shopping and I was like, oh, this jacket would look cool for like the ending scenes. And she was like, I just saw those. I'm going to grab them now. And I was like, so.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's been really good. Like it's been such it's been healing to my soul at the same time. And don't get me wrong. I love shooting in Indonesia.
Yeah.
But Indonesian it is my first language,
Yeah.
but I lost it. Like, I think in English now. So every time I have to do something in Indonesian, my brain goes, I read it, and whatever I've read, it's stored in my brain, but then I have to translate it from in English to Indo before my mouth says it. So it's not natural right away, right? It's getting better for sure, but it's been easier to just be like, oh, I can speak in English.
So you lived in the States practically your whole life. And a few years back, you decided to move to Indonesia. Do you think that move gave you more freedom to redefine yourself, or did it challenge you to prove yourself all over again?
I think it's a bit of both. 100%, I was able to kind of spread my wings a little bit. Prior to moving there, I would do like one project a year, if that, in Indonesia, because there weren't many projects that could fly me out. Again, their budgets are different, right? It's not American-sized budgets because it's all sold locally. It's not sold, globally. And I fully understand that, but I was like, I can't justify me flying myself out for a project that's going to pay me the price of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just didn't translate. And I was working a lot in the States, albeit not quite to the level that I get to play like these more complex characters. I got lucky with like Brother Sun, which was a very fun and awesome character. But like even Bullet Train, it was a cool character, but it wasn't like so in depth. And we shot that. I was there from like September to March.
Whoa.
Yeah, we shot a lot more, but it didn't come out in film.
That's a long time.
That's a long time, my friend, and it was good. But in Indonesia, granted, I am still seen as like a foreigner, right? So, but even then, I'm still able to play all these crazy like fun characters. I haven't played the same type of character in the whole year that I've been there. And prior, like I said, to moving out there, I was doing one project a year, maybe at that, maybe one every 2 years. But ever since I moved last year, since then to now, I've done like 6-7 projects.
Amazing.
It's been only a year, right? So it's been very fruitful. And at the same time, they have been very challenging because I am starting from the bottom in terms of the language. And the people that know me aren't necessarily the local market, right? So I'm having to insert myself in those roles where then the local market is like, who is this guy? Why is he even around? Because they can tell my Indonesian's not quite the same as everyone else, right? And there's always like, oh, he was in America for 5 years. Oh, he studied in New Zealand. It wasn't until my last role, which we just finished right before coming here, there was no explanation. He was just a local Indonesian guy, and that to me was like, yes, we got the win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was like, oh, finally, I got it. I mean, that's one, so we'll see if it continues. But it has been for sure a bit of both, but more so on the front of it was freeing. 100% freeing.
So since this podcast is called Once and Always a Fanboy, what are you currently fanboying over at the moment?
Man,
I know
this is gonna sound so cliche, but K-pop Demon Hunters is so good.
It
like,
is.
That is just on repeat for me.
Yeah,
that's
music's good. The animation's awesome. The story was like the chills when I like the first like 10 minutes. I was like, "Whoa, this is freaking awesome!"
So badass. And like, for it to been like taken 7 years to make, like man, it is crushing the what is
It's
it?
still crushing.
It's still crushing. It's still
Like
going on.
there's even newer like press stuff being done with
Because
well,
it's smart. They have to. And what's funny to me is I feel like in Southeast Asia they weren't pushing it very hard.
no. Because
Until now.
if they were, I would have gotten
Yeah, that's right. Personally, when I watched it, I was watching it when I was filming my other project, and no one was watching it, right? Because it had come out. Because I had to watch it. My friend Arden is in it,
Yeah.
and so I was like, I have to watch this, and it was so good. And I was like, why is there no marketing here in Indonesia for this? And turns out it wasn't made. It's not made for the Indonesian market, right? Like if you watch it, and as producers, I've talked to some of the producers too in Southeast Asia. It's very American. It's a very Western story.
Yeah.
Right? It's all of them are diaspora. They're not like Korean. They're Korean diaspora. And they're dealing with these things that Asian diaspora are dealing with outside, not necessarily in Asia. So when it blew up here, I was like, oh, now it's fully made it because it came back around. Even though the story isn't what you would call local, it still hit, you know? And that to me was like, oh, that's a phenomenon. Like I haven't seen anything like this in a very long time. This is like Frozen back in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is like Frozen.
Yeah.
I think the last time an animation like musical was this big was probably Frozen. And that's a big one to beat. Yeah. That's
And I'm glad it's an Asian
centric story.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean-
And I really liked the whole ending with Rumi and Jinu. Like, I love that they didn't force
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, yes. Because there has been a lot. Like, ever since my girlfriends would make me aware of it, it was like, no matter what, even if it's a female-led show, the male would come in and like somehow be the hero, right? And I was like, not in this one.
Yeah.
It's still her, you know? Like to the end, I thought it was real cool. I know everybody wanted them to get together, but I was like, come on, man, there'll be another one.
Yeah.
They'll bring them back somehow. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
especially now that you know how big it's gotten. It's
Yeah.
massive.
I
It's
know,
massive.
it's
I know,
massive.
like Arden was just doing tours around.
I know.
Asia as well, so it's really cool. And knowing Arden, like all the stuff that she's gone through and all the stuff that she's persevered through, like, wow, that to me, I was so freaking happy for her because I think during COVID, she and I would like do like 2 to 3 hour long calls, just being like, I don't know what we're doing. How are we doing this? You know, so it just gives me hope too as well for myself to continue, just keep going. Like acting is perseverance. Like how long can you stay in the game and push through all the BS?
I'm so happy for everyone involved, even the singers, the actual singers.
She was told that she wasn't gonna be a good you know, and now she's like, hey, guess what? #1 top.
I know.
Hey, global charts, baby.
Yeah.
Sorry, her name was
EJ.
EJ.
Yeah.
Oh, so her voice, golly.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Arden, yeah, because she's gonna sing. I was like, oh no, it's not Arden.
Yeah.
Because she's a singer.
Yeah, I know.
She's
Yeah.
a great singer. But you know, it makes sense. Like that's what I love about like the entertainment industry. Like they were so, in this movie specifically, they were so open about like all the separates, you know? Because I feel like a lot of actors these days are very like, I want to do everything myself. I'm like, the costume that you're in, that's not you. The script that's been written, that's not you. So why is it that you have to be like, I'm my own stunt double? I'm like, honey. That means producers don't care about you and they don't care if you get hurt.
Yeah.
Like that to me is the biggest pet peeve. Like, I do my own stunts. I'm like, I can do my own action, but I'm not doing my own stunts. I'm not hitting the ground unless you see my face. In the video that I just posted, yes, you see my face. I get hit and then it's like one shot. That's why I did it. And also that wall was padded, so I didn't feel anything.
So geeking out, you've been sharing a lot of your card game.
Yes. So the biggest geek out that I've been continuously doing
This is
for sure Digimon.
Oh, yeah.
Digimon TCG has been a big one for me. I've always loved TCGs growing up, but
I remember when I went to your place a few years back, all of you were playing Dungeons
Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah,
Osric was there, Desmond.
Yep.
So you really grew up with that.
Dungeons and Dragons was not more of like, that was more of a post-college kind of thing. And it wasn't as something that we grew up in. I feel like that was very white to do. That was like more of a white geekiness thing to do for us. But we had done something like Dungeons and Dragons, but in our own way.
So if you had to explain it to a total beginner, example me.
Yes.
Like not the rules, but the feeling of it. What's the one thing you'd share that makes you love it so much? Like Digimon.
The card game. Okay. To me, it's like chess a little bit. And there's moments within the card game that you, essentially it's a mental game, right? There are moments where you feel like you're all the way in the far back and you're behind against your opponent and there's nothing you can do. And you draw that one card that changes it all. This is very Yu-Gi-Oh coded, that heart of the cards, right? You open it and you're like, that was what I was looking for. And you're able to come back from that. That feeling of like, it's a rush, right? Of course. And being able to like set your opponents up with certain things and then they do the thing that you want them to do and you can take the win in the next turn. There's these like different plays that you can do and it's exhilarating. All backed behind nostalgia, of course, and beautiful artwork. And what's wonderful to me about Digimon is it's such a low entry to get into it because it's not a card game that's super expensive. You can have it's not like Pokemon where every card is like, you know what I mean? Buying a pack is just insanely difficult. The only downside is that Digimon in Asia is all Japanese cards. So you'd have to memorize each card. But it has recently happened where they converged it's also the first card game in the world to have global releases. So it all comes out at the same time. So no one in all parts of the world, we're all playing the same game. Whereas Magic, Pokemon, whatever, they all have different timings on everything. So because of that, English-speaking countries like Philippines and Indonesia, whatever, Singapore are slowly getting English cards. So now is a good time to get into it. In fact, there was a card shop that I went to the other day and they were like, we get English cards next week. And I was like, right, as of right now, I'm like sending cards from America to here and it's a pain in the butt.
So you worked on huge Hollywood sets surrounded by A-listers. Was there an actor who really inspired you in the best way and earned your respect? And on the flip side, without, having to name names, have you ever thought, wow, this person's kind of an asshole?
All right.
I'm sure with the amount of projects you've been in. Let's do the respect.
The
first.
respectful one. To be fair, this is not gonna be a popular opinion. Zachary Levi. He was a big eye opener for me. The way that his presence was on set continually throughout the years. I had known him multiple times. I first met him on my very first job as an extra. I was on Alvin and the Chipmunks, the Squeakquel. I had just watched Chuck the night before, and I loved his character on Chuck, right?
I love Chuck.
And then I was having snacks at the snack table, and I was so new. I didn't know like where I was supposed to go or whatever. And I there was a celery, and I dipped it, and I bit into it and whatever. And some girl next to me was like, "Oh my God, did you just double dip?" And I was like, "What? No." She goes, "Yeah, this extra just double dipped." And I don't even remember who she was. I think she might have been like a guest star or co-star or whatever, like one line or whatever. And she was being very mean about it. And I was like, I swear to you, I didn't. I was 20 years old, right? I was scared out of my mind at this point. And I just felt like these big hands put his hands on my shoulder. And he was like, no, he didn't do that. I was right here next to him. Like, why are you making a scene? He didn't do that. And I look up and it's Chuck. And I was like, whoa. He was like, "You're good, man. You're good. I saw you were fine." I was like, "Hey, thank you. I appreciate that." Like he didn't have to stick up for me.
Yeah.
But he stuck up for me. And then the next day I was walking around and passing by people and I heard like, "Hey, how you doing, man? Good morning." And I was like, "Good morning." Oh, it's Zachary Levi again, right? I was like, for him to say hi to an extra, that was out of his way. He didn't need to do that, right? Like, and it's funny. It's like, oh, it's him being a human being, right? But the fact of the matter is, when you're on set, sometimes the hierarchies play into effect. Like that's why that girl was trying to like, I don't know why. I still don't understand it to this day, but it happened. And then I saw him again at like in Brazil for a convention, and he like remembered me for like 7 years later. You know, he's like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" I was like, "Oh, I'm doing a promo for Power Rangers." He's like, "You booked something? You're a lead? Oh, that's awesome!" And he was so kind about it. You know, gave me a big hug. I think that was like, to me, one of the like biggest. You know, I worked on Shazam as well, and he was very kind to me on that. We played Hades together, but you know, and yes, I don't agree with some of his beliefs and the way that he talks about certain things.
Yeah,
but to me, he was always very, very kind, and I had also like in my acting classes, we had always like, oh, who are your vibes? Who is the career that you were gonna fall like similar? You know. Mine has always been Zachary Levi or Chris Evans. I kept everybody was like, "You're Chris Evans, you're not Zachary Levi." But I was like, because I felt so attached to him. I think that was one of the biggest things. But I think there's a lot of people that have been very kind, but he's just like multiple times over the years. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like other people are like, "Oh yeah, 1 or 2 times here and there." Like Brad was great, you know, and he exuded this aura that was just like untouchable. It was crazy to see. Who else? Hiroyuki Sanada, wonderful. Like working with him on Bullet Train and like asking him like, how do you want me to portray this young character of you? Like,
so he was there. He was there on the.
He had to give approval for me.
Oh,
so
amazing.
When they asked me for the role, I was like, absolutely yes. They're like, you know who that is? I'm like, absolutely, I know who that is. Were you crazy? Because I've actually been told that I look like Hiroyuki young from like way before. Yeah. If you look at some of the photos, I'm like, okay, yeah. And so when I got to see him, I got to talk to him, and he's like, "Are you Japanese?" I was like, "No, but I can speak it a little." And he was like, "All right." And then he's like, "How would you say that?" So I did a few, and I would like greet him every morning in Japanese, and he was like, "Sugoi, sugoi." I was like, "Thank you." But it was like he was so gracious in you like allowing me be part of the team, and like he was like, "Oh yeah, so remember it's like the right leg, right? And I think it's because of this." And you know, we had built the whole backstory around it, and that to the point where we actually filmed it, the backstory, but they didn't put it in.
Oh man.
Yeah, he gets stabbed through his leg. Oh, it was so cool, and I was just like, "Oh, it didn't make the movie." Oh, so sad. But I'm trying to think of assholes. I used to wear the suits for Rangers and had to do the events and the live shows. There was one in particular, didn't like that we were doing the movements, that we were doing the cool stuff. There's a lot of people that are like that. Like their ego gets hurt because they're not able to do it. Or maybe they are and they aren't doing it. So their ego gets hurt. Like, I could do that. You know what I mean? And I remember they were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to go off stage and like morph or whatever." As they're passing the stage, passing us, and like, "Have fun being us," kind of thing. And I was like, I like turned back. This is one of my first few times, right? Turned back, and one of the other guys was like, "It's okay, it's okay." I was like, all right. I'm like, "Chill, Yoshi, chill." I was young, right? It's stupid. But I was like, I can't believe somebody would do that. But a lot of it does come from ego, right? Like they don't like to see that somebody else that looks like them can do something more than them. And I think that's where it comes into this mindset of like, "Oh, I do my own stunts." And they're so like against everybody seeing that they're not perfect, I guess. And I'm like, why? For what reason? Right? And I've had a couple times where I've had to talk to like actors that I've worked with, and they're like, "No, I want to do my own stuff. I want to do my own stuff." And I'm like, hey, if you do, that person's out of a job.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, it's like, it's not because you can't do it. It's because they care about you. Production cares enough so that you don't get hurt on a job. If you see the face while we're doing the scene, that makes sense. But if it's your back and you're hitting the ground super hard and it's dangerous, why? Right? For what reason do you need to go do that? And one of the things is like what people don't realize is the stunt double work. It's not just taking the hits for them. It's the unseen stuff. And that's why I'm like, when you don't acknowledge your stunt performer or your stunt double or your stunt team, you're dead to me. I I just think it's so egotistic.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And here's the thing: you get hurt because of your ego, whatever. Everybody's out for 6 months. No one's gonna do this job.
Yeah.
Right? Like, unfortunately, if your stunt double gets hurt, hopefully they have another that can replace. It's unfortunate, but that's how we have to keep things moving.
So when people look back
Yeah.
at your career, like 10 to 12 years from now, what do you hope they say about Yoshi Sudarso?
I'll be happy that they're saying anything about me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Because
that means
like,
I made an impact.
like a lot of people know you for your stunt work. I know because like you share with me, but I don't think a lot of people know how many projects, movies, shows you're actually providing your blood, sweat, and tears behind the scenes. What do you think are the shows, those titles that a lot of people would be surprised to find out that you were actually in it?
I think probably Avatar is the biggest one. I think not many people know that I did Avatar, Way of Water, and the third one and the fourth one, whatever they're gonna be called. I don't know.
You were like in the stunt choreography side.
Yeah, so I hopped on maybe like, I want to say 2 months before we started filming, 2 to 3 months. Helped the fight choreographer Steve Brown, and Garrett Warren is the stunt coordinator. I helped Steve. Basically was like, just help me build choreo and play around with these guys and make stuff. One of the first ones I got to do was I helped build the choreography for the tilting boat scene in the final fight of the Way of Water. I don't know how much of my choreography they actually took, but like, that's something that we built up. Like some fights going down a hill. I remember fighting Wayne Dalglish, who is the stunt coordinator for Superman. Helped fight. It was funny. It was the first time I ever met this guy, Wayne Dalglish, and we clicked so fast because we were both like brought in on the same week and we were building choreo together. And I remember we like burned through this choreo in like 3 hours because we were having so much fun. And Steve goes, I remember he comes over and goes, guys, chill the fuck out. We have a week to do this one. It's like, you're burning yourself out in one day. We were like, oh, okay. And we're doing the choreo. And at one point, Wayne is supposed to throw me over his shoulder and like jab a knife in my chest or whatever. And he like throws me and he goes, ah! And they're like, and cut. Sorry, Yoshi. I just really like fighting. And I was like, I see that. But if you've seen the Superman movie, the Mr. Terrific scene, Wayne Dalglish built that. That was like, it's so cool. That was such a good scene, and the music that they put to it. But yeah, I think Avatar is probably the biggest one that they're like, oh, you did something on that. You know what I mean? Because you don't see what it is, right?
Yeah.
I played like the trackers for like the Ash people, so it's been like very quiet. Like we couldn't say that there was going to be different colored avatars or avatar people. Even though you kind of see it in Way of Water, they're like turquoisey, but you weren't ready for like white. You know what I mean? Or ash colored or whatever it was. And then, but going back to the what I want people to say about me, because this is something that I've had said to me recently. I remember I just want them. Maybe not somebody that this would be for somebody on set, right? I want them to say that they felt safe with me, and that, because that's what I felt with, some of my mentors. Felt safe because there were moments where I, as a young performer, I would do whatever. And it wasn't until somebody who was a mentor was like, yo, hey, no, there's no need to do that. Let's slow down and go put on your pads or whatever it is. Or like, you don't need to say yes to this specific part of the scene. Like you can say no to that and have that power, right? So I think that's what I want to be remembered as. Leave a good impact, I guess. Yeah, in the industry, because the industry can be a little bit scary and daunting. So I just want to be able to leave a good impact from, especially with the people that I meet in person. I may not always leave that because I can get passionate about things. But yeah, I think that's what I would want.
So if you have any final words to your supporters and fans, you can just...
What would I like to say? Well, if for those of you who have been following my journey, I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I know it's my journey's been up and down, and it's been a long time. So I hope I can continue to make you guys proud, and look forward to Shadow Transit.
Yeah, dude, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, brother.